What's up, y'all YouTubers? How y'all doing today? Today's video, I'm going to be working on the Grand Caravan again, 2011. Going to be doing the lower control arm on this side here. I did the other side and it's a little harder, and I'll explain what difference it is between the two. But did the wheel bearing just a few minutes ago on the last video. If you want to take a peek at that, I'll leave a link somewhere up here, over there, down below at the end, somewhere. There'll be a link to that video if you want to watch how to change one of those out, start to finish. Then go ahead and watch that. But anyway, lower control arm. It's not too bad, and I left this kind of apart. I left this plate. There's this cover here that goes on there, and the caliper I left off. I got to this point. You know, this little cover goes on there and it goes back together. So I got to this point on the wheel bearing, left it here, and then because this kind of gets in the way of the wheel bearing, so, or the control arm, sorry. But anyway, we're going to be doing the control arm. I've got the tie rod off, and we're also going to be changing out this guy here, this sway bar link. It's kind of been making a little bit of noise on me. Anyway, it's actually not as bad as it looks. The other side's a little tougher, and like I said, I'll explain that when I get to there. But it's basically you've got this bolt here, or this ball joint nut. You got to remove that. There might be a cotter pin in there. Oh, there's not a cotter key on that. And then you've got a nut and bolt here, 24 millimeter, and the bottom is a 21 millimeter, and then this one here that comes over here is a 21. Now on this one, I did the other side. If you're going to do both of them, or if you're doing the driver's side, it's a little tougher because you don't have this much space to get this one out on the other side. Can't really walk over there and show you because I got that side on the ground. But anyway, if I can get the camera down there to kind of show you. Well, you can't really see it, but the transmission comes like right there, so you don't have any room to get that bolt out. So you've got to loosen up this bolt here and that back bolt. Just loosen them so they're hanging down, you know, yay far, and then you get a pry bar and you lower the subframe down so you can, you know, you lower the subframe down just a little. You get a pry bar, and don't pull those all the way out, then it's gonna be could be a lot harder to get them back in. Just loosen them a good amount, but keep them threaded, and then you should be able to slide that out. That's the only difference between the driver and the passenger side. But really it's pretty easy. Just this nut here, this bolt here, and the back one back there, if I can put my finger right there, that one. And these are 21 millimeter. This one doesn't have a nut on the other side. That one has a nut on the top. The nut on the top is 24 millimeter. And then this one here is like an 18 millimeter. And that's really it. And then at that point, it's a good time to get this off. But we'll go ahead and get started. Before I begin, I'd like to thank this video's sponsors, which is, well, y'all, the viewers. You guys sponsor this show. I don't have anybody buying me parts, buying me products to review, nothing like that. I pay for everything myself with pretty much my monetization money from YouTube. So appreciate every one of you. If you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you have, like the video, share it. Appreciate everyone. There's also channel membership. At the time of this recording, I don't have any channel members yet, but I'm still thinking about what to do with that. If I start getting some, I might do some giveaways or something, or special content. But anyway, there's also that super thanks button if you feel like leaving a small little donation. That would be fantastic. If not, hey, no pressure. Just hit that subscribe button. Costs you nothing. Helps me out a ton. Appreciate every one of you. Alright, enough of that. Now let's get on with the video. Okay, so first thing I'm going to try and do is try and get this off of that, the top one. I fought like crazy that lower one on the last side because it just would not come out. I fought it and fought it and fought it. It's a good idea to have them soaked with some penetrating oil. That will sure help a lot. But you might need to grab like some pliers on the back end of it to hold it. I can find a good pair. See if I can get up in there where I'm not blocking you. Grab a pair of pliers and hold it back behind there. It's spinning again. These ones are so tough to get out. These ones can be a bugger. It was spinning on me. I got it to move a little bit more, but sometimes you have to hit your gun back and forth a little bit. These are probably the biggest bugger of the whole job right here, getting these things out. The new ones I'm putting in have like a nut, like a bolt head on the other side of it to help hold it with a wrench. But in this case, you can't get it to come. Can't get it to not spin. Sometimes you go back in. Sometimes you go back in. And out with it. It's not working at all. This one could be a fight. The only reason you have to take this out, and if you're not changing these just based on that, I would leave them in. I'm just doing that so I can move this bar, the sway bar, a little bit, just kind of because it kind of goes over there, and you don't have to. It's just it kind of sinks down there a little bit, but I'm changing these out anyway, so I'm gonna attempt to take them out. But I'll do this off camera so I can get in here and I'm not standing in your way. So I'll do this off camera and I will be right back. Alright, so I got that out. It's kind of a bugger, and then it gives me that much more drop or that much more lift on it, so that it just gives me that little bit of extra space down there to get that control arm off. This back one here is going to really suck, but anyway, I had to get these bad boys right here to hold that back there, and I had to grip it as tight as I could to get that nut off. So it's a pain. It being cold outside today doesn't help either. It's a chilly winter day in February, which definitely does not help. But anywho, we are going to now we're just going to get the control arm out. Start with this lower nut on the ball joint. You're not really going to be able to see what I'm doing, so again, I'll do that off camera. But this lower one down here, I think it's just an 18 millimeter. You don't have really room with the bearing in. It's a little, you don't have a lot of room in there to work, but we're gonna work it anyway. If you leave your bearing off, you can move your axle around a little bit and get it out of the way and have a little bit more room down there to work, but we didn't do that, so I'm gonna get that nut off and then we'll be right back. Alright, so we got that out. You can see it's probably ought to just kind of, you have to smack on a little bit with a hammer. It doesn't take much, but smack on the knuckle a little bit and the control arm, smack on them a little bit. Give it a little pry. But with the bearing in the way, you just have to open in wrench it. Just kind of open in wrench it the whole way out. Kind of a pain in the butt, but and then you can't get the nut all the way off, so you have to break it free, pry down on it, and sometimes you have to grab like some pliers to hold it. If it starts to spin, you just grab some pliers to hold it while you're finishing taking that nut off. No big deal, but I mean, kind of a pain in the butt, but it is what it is. But anyway, and then you just take out that one and the back one, and then just pry it out. It's really, it's fairly simple. I mean, a lot of people are kind of intimidated by it. Don't get intimidated by it. It's not too bad. And you can use your hand tools. I prefer impacts, but like I said, this lower one down here, or this front one, I guess, not lower, they're both lower, but this front one, it's just a plain 21. It doesn't have a, okay, I'm gonna have to get my longer ratchet. It doesn't have any like nut on the other side of it. Just a simple, it's got like something threaded on the other side of it that you don't have to worry about holding or anything. You just kind of get your ratchet on there and pull down on it like it takes a little bit of pressure because it's not the easiest bolt in the world to get off. Get this caliper out of the way a little bit so I can get a good bite on it. And again, it's pretty tight. Just gotta run it out. And like I said, this one should come right out. If you're working on the left side, again, like I mentioned before, you do have to lower the subframe a tad. This one you shouldn't have to, but I'm not gonna guarantee that yet until I get there. But it looks like I shouldn't have to lower the subframe on this side. This side should be a lot easier, and it's pretty tight all the way out. So you're gonna have to kind of just work it. So unless you got an impact and a wobble, come right out. And that's probably what I'm gonna do, just for the sake of time, my time, your time. I don't want to keep you watching me just hand ratchet these things out. So I'm gonna put together my find my wobbly and my 21, and we're gonna just zip these out that way, and that'll make it a ton easier. So I'll do that and I will be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and got both of those off. I got this one off again, 21 millimeter bolt coming up, top side, 24 millimeter nut, and then that one was just a bolt. It goes through it, and this thing is ready to come out. You just pull it. Sometimes you have to give it a little pry with a pry bar. You can see how shot that is. See all those cracks in there, how much movement it's got. I mean, it's not horrible, but it's bad enough that it was definitely bouncing up in there. Yeah, you can kind of see right up in that little edge. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's not horrible, but there's lots of movement in that bushing. So that's out. Now you want to hook up a wobble and try and get this off. Again, if you're not doing this, then I would just leave it and just deal with trying to get that out with this down a little bit, because those can be a bugger to get out. So I'm going to sit there and fight that for a minute off camera so you don't see me struggling and hear the choice words that I have to spit out while I'm doing it, because it causes me to spit out some choice words. But I'm going to hook up my wobble, get that out, because I can't really get my impact down in there with the control arm. So now's the time to do that if you're going to. So anyway, I'll get to that point and I will be right back. Alright, got that thing out. It's kind of a bugger. But now we're ready to go back in. Our new control arm, our new this. I'm sure from here, if you got this far, I'm sure you can figure out how to put it all back together. Probably leave the video here so I can get this all put back together. But anyway, that's how you remove it. Like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory getting it back together. You got the one there, bolt goes up, nut on top, that one bolt through. Then you got your lower ball joint, your tie rod end, and your brakes. So if you got this far, you're probably pretty good. You probably got it. So we're going to stop the video here. Appreciate all you watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like the video, thumbs up. Links to all the tools down below. And I will see you in the next one.